where to begin. Concerning reviewers. As a YouTube reviewer, I could simply start in this video with a glowing recommendation asking you to gently caress that like button and to pulverize the subscribe button to stay up to date on our videos. Yet we are a narcissistic folk, and conversely I could rave in an hour-long video about the quality of animation, storytelling, soundtrack, and thematic tone Cyberpunk Edgerunners has blessed us with, all while asking you to comment below on your thoughts and what else you would have us review. Yet every now and again we are self-aware, and realize that sometimes we must stay true to the nature of what we review. And it is in this that we shall review Cyberpunk Edgerunners and its nuanced themes with as much care as I can give it, to be short and concise but dense with content, leaving the viewer wanting for more, yet all the same satisfied with that end outcome. Animated works have had a major impact on my growth as a person. Beginning as a child with films such as The Land Before Time teaching me the concepts of loss and mourning, extending to my youth with shows such as Dragon Ball, forging that want to be strong enough to defend the weak. And in my adolescence, watching the fantastical epics of Studio Ghibli, stoking that flame of creativity in me, pushing me how to learn to play the piano, to write music, and most importantly, to have a love for the finer arts in general. The illusion of life created by animation left me astounded, often filling my mind with wonder, letting my imagination run wild. Simply put, quality animation evokes an emotional response out of me quite easily, as it touches the core of my being and it bleeds into my dreams. And for too long that imagination had lay dormant, yet Cyberpunk Edgerunners ripped away that curtain that had been concealing my dreams once again, showing me what Night City was, leaving me to imagine what Night City could be. Studio Trigger's rendition of this world left me breathless. From character design to set design to fight choreography, Studio Trigger left it all out on the field. Though most notable in my own humble opinion, they even animated those dull scenes with that care and passion, something most shows can't say at all. All 10 episodes showed an animation quality filled with creativity, vision, psychedelic mindfucks, and yet at times the show came off as silly with the more serious tones when needed. And it did all of these different styles seamlessly. Though with every great animation, it must also have a soundtrack to match.
What are you doing? The last thing I can do for her. Reaper's finally calling my name.
Original soundtracks can vary, ranging anywhere from that ear-grating, cringe-inducing soundtrack to being blinded from the rain when certain tracks slap that little girl that's hidden inside all of us. As a terrible musician myself, I know a thing or two about bad music, and believe me when I say I can never piece together a soundtrack as good as Edgerunners. While it's not my favorite soundtrack ever,
Replaced by Lord of the Rings trilogy. Also check out our Rings Pirate Review if you haven't already.
I must say it is an incredibly effective soundtrack. Every episode from start to finish has accompanying music behind it that just fits perfect, elevating that already insane animation quality further. Suffice it to say, Studio Trigger made magic happen before any dialogue hit the scene with animation and soundtrack alone. Though with any anime, typically there has to be a dialogue and a story. And in Edgerunner's case, it remains true.
You're right, Mom. I know I can. I'll do my best. You got my word. Arasaka all the way to the top.
All right, David. Let's go to the top then.
If Cyberpunk Edgerunners had a weakness, it would be its story. Incredibly dense with dialogue that felt natural to each character, this weakness was one of two parts, both with simple fixes. The first part being David's mother dying before I could become fully invested in her. Normally this wouldn't be an issue, as there are always characters who die in lesser shows and anime, which is supposed to be impactful, but just aren't. Yet, the reason this is an issue for Edgerunners is because I was invested in every other character that dies in this show. Edgerunner's story is so great at getting you to care for these minor characters that the lack of care for David's mother becomes glaring. It's like seeing the most beautiful woman you've ever seen with flawless skin except for a single pimple, tiny, directly in the middle of her forehead. In reality, she's beautiful, but that one pimple is just there, glaring at you. It's such a small flaw that any person can easily ignore it, and in the case of Cyberpunk, ignore it I will. As for the second weakness, it's one of time. The show didn't feel rushed, it felt right, though the one thing it could have used was simply one more episode. One more episode would have allowed for David's mother to shine more, and would have allowed a bit more of a transition between the first arc and the start of main cyberpsychosis. While episode 6 was probably one of my favorite episodes of any anime or show over the past couple of years, it came quickly. There was no easement into the episode, which I think could have potentially benefited the show slightly more. Though, what do I know? I'm not a professional screenwriter, director, animator, or college graduate, or, I'm just up there. To wrap it up, Cyberpunk Edgerunners gets an easy recommendation for me, for any audience of any gender, of any age above probably 13. It is a beautiful character-driven, adult drama that is action-packed and vibes in a way that suits its insanity perfectly. 10 out of 10, would recommend.
Hey, Nick here. If you enjoyed this video, please gently caress that like button for us.
And Ray, thanks for watching. It was a blast. Make sure to hit that subscribe if you want to stay up to date with what we're doing, what me and him are doing. There. Me and him. Nick and Ray. Subscribe.